Today's episode of The Real Deal with Damian Adams is brought to you by the three-point conversion. Now, the three-point conversion is where fans' opinions matter. Okay, so if you are a sports fan, you're not following the three-point conversion on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you are doing it incorrectly. So make sure you follow the three-point conversion at 3PTCNVRSN. That's 3, the number 3, PTCNVRSN. Three-point conversion, all right? Make sure you follow it, where fans' opinions matter. Now, today's episode is also brought to you by FantasyData.com. So I'm 4-2 in both of my football fantasy leagues, about to start a basketball one, and I'm about to go ahead and just bang out on all these fantasy leagues because of FantasyData.com. All right, so if you go to FantasyData.com and use promo code REAL411, that's promo code REAL411, you get 25% off. And you can be out here flourishing in your fantasy leagues just like me. That's FantasyData.com, promo code REAL411. Thank you for listening to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. This is Real Sports Talk for the real sports fan. And I definitely appreciate all you real sports fans who are listening right now. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you. Please do not forget to help a brother out and give me that 5-star rating, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. That 5-star rating and review would definitely be appreciated. If you're listening on a three-point conversion station on Spreaker Radio, the three-point conversion station is where fans' opinions matter. So if you think the show is hot, say it loud. I think the show is hot and I'm proud. If you think the show can improve, don't say it as loudly, but please let me know. I need both your praises and your criticisms to be great at my job. All right? And today I'm very excited about this show. Today is all basketball. We're doing the 2019-2020 NBA season preview. And for this, it's a very big job, very important. And I couldn't do this by myself. I had to bring a guest on who I know knows the game very well. And his knowledge is only equaled by his entertainment value that he brings on the podcast. He is the host of the Above the Rim podcast, Justin, a.k.a. Just Blaze. He's also somebody who's representing New York. He's the unofficial president of the Chris Paul fan club.
Speak on it.
All right. My man Justin from Above the Rim, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good, man. Appreciate the invite and the kind words and the dope intro, my brother. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. You know, just speaking facts. And whenever I have a guest on for the first time, I want to be able to have the audience get to know that guest so they can appreciate the guest the way I do. So can you tell the people just a little bit about yourself?
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, born and raised over here and still here now. So I've been talking basketball pretty much my whole life. Basketball has been a part of my life forever, so it's always been a thing for me to talk ball. I play ball, so it's just been, I've just been very interested in the NBA, and then I created the show because I wanted to create a platform to talk basketball on, so that's when Above the Rim was born.
And so you started Above the Rim to create this platform, and when people tune into the Above the Rim podcast, what can they expect to hear?
You can expect to hear a lot of things. So, both a basketball show, obviously, through and through. And it's a real cool, laid-back, chill kind of vibe while talking sports. I want it to feel like very conversational podcast. You see the different guests that I bring on there each week is somebody that I'm cool with or somebody that I already vibe with already. So we know each other. Not everybody knows each other well, but you can always see the camaraderie in between my episodes with whichever guest that I have on. And I just wanted to create a platform, like I said before, where you can be yourself and talk basketball. Because I know a lot of guys out here that are very knowledgeable about the game, including yourself, Damian, and who aren't getting enough opportunities, I feel like, enough chances. You look on all these major networks and it's the same format or the same type of person delivering your sports content over and over. It's either a retired athlete or it's an older journalist never someone our age, someone young, someone hip with the culture. So, yes, I just wanted to create a show like that. And I just wanted to hoops, man. That's what I do all the time. I argue with enough people on a daily basis, so I needed to put it on wax.
Nah, I definitely feel that, and I appreciate the compliment. And
Yeah.
so you said that you grew up playing ball. What was it that made it to where it was just basketball for you? Like a lot of people do, they like me, I do football, basketball, boxing. For you, why has it always been just basketball?
No, it's all sports too, but basketball has always been my first love.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just grew up that way because, out here in Brooklyn, it's nothing but basketball courts over here. So it was always the first sport you pick up as a kid. Then my older brother played ball through my father, so it was it wasn't that long for anyone to pick that up. So it was really more so that's just been my main sport.
Gotcha.
Basketball, so, yeah.
And you say that you could ball, man. So how would you describe your game on the court?
I would say I gotta say Chris Paul-esque. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely a point guard. A very cerebral point guard. I can score. I can do it all. I mean, I would say very Chris Paul-esque. I would say right now.
Okay, and that's different.
Yeah.
I imagine when you go down and you play at the rec or you play on the courts with somebody who's a pass first point guard nowadays, they probably look at you crazy.
Yeah, but you still got to be able to score too. You still got to score the rock.
Oh yeah,
Which
most
I
definitely.
Do. You're not lasting if you're not scoring the rock either. They eat you up over here.
Nah, that's definitely correct. And
yeah.
so let's talk about some of your favorite players. I already said that you are the president of the Chris Paul fan club. So what is it about Chris Paul that made you such a big fan of him?
No, I just like his game, pretty much. I've always been a big fan of his game ever since Wake Forest and stuff like that. So I'm always a big supporter of point guards, of all point guards in general. I like them or I critique them much harder because that's our position as well. So, I just like his game. I like his skill level. He's a phenomenal passer. A great game manager, and I always like players with a high IQ. That's why I give LeBron a lot of respect. I always say Magic Johnson has the best IQ of any basketball player of all time. That's my personal opinion. But I feel like Chris Paul is up there as well in game IQ, and it's tough when you're a smaller guard to really have that kind of impact on your team as well. So I just like his skill set. So that's pretty much why I've been a fan of his for a long time now. And I feel like he doesn't get enough love for what he does because not everything is about the flash. Nowadays, everybody cares about the flash and the highlights, and they forget about the essence or the fundamentals of the game. So I'm playing on both ends as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Chris Paul is the person I've actually seen the most live because I grew up in New Orleans. So that when I was coming up, saw him a lot with the New Orleans Hornets, and then I moved out to California, went to Clippers games. Saw him there because, of course, the Clippers tickets are a lot cheaper than Lakers tickets. So went to those games.
For sure.
So saw him out there. So I've seen Chris Paul a lot, man. So I definitely have an appreciation for his game. And watching him live gives you even a better appreciation of him because you see exactly what you're talking about. The IQ defensively, man, he is a hound. Like, he's never stopping on defense. And even if at his age now he slowed down a little bit, he's still a very good defender just because of his knowledge. He knows exactly where to go, how to play angles, and things of that nature. So I definitely have that same appreciation for Chris Paul that you do.
Yeah, man, definitely. That was great points. It's true. There isn't a lot of two-way point guards right now. Two-way elite point guards. There's this half and half, 50-50, but two-way elite point guards. There's not a great amount of them right now. So I feel like it's. I guess you could say a dying breed, kind of, in a way.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think Chris Paul is the last of that general that you would say, a point general on the court.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you there. And I want to see who are your other favorite players at some other positions. And we can go all time, all right now. So obviously got Chris Paul as your favorite point guard. Who's your favorite shooting guard?
Favorite shooting guard, MJ, 100%. Most definitely my. Well, actually, it's actually a two-way tie. Actually, my three favorite players of all time they play the same position. Other than Chris Paul, it's Michael Jordan, of course. Always grew up as a Michael Jordan fan. But Ray Allen,
Okay.
also. Yeah, Ray Allen is always been one of my favorite players. Him and Chris Paul is pretty much neck and neck. So I would say if I could slide MJ to the 3, give me Ray Allen at the 2 and slide MJ at the 3.
Okay, now I definitely, because that's a mean lineup right there out the bat. So you got Chris Paul passing the ball to Ray Allen out there, especially a young Ray Allen, because not only do you have the 3-point shooting, I'm slashing to the rim. People forget about Milwaukee and Seattle Ray Allen out there slashing to the rim, dunking on people, pulling up in the mid range. So yeah, that's a nasty lineup to begin with. So who?
They forget about Shuttlesworth, man.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely underrated. He's definitely underrated. And who is your favorite small forward of all time?
Favorite small forward. I'm gonna have to go Melo. Favorite small forward of all time. I'm gonna have to go Melo. I'm a big Melo guy. Out there. I know he gets a bad rap a lot right now because of what's going on. Unfortunately, he can't get on the roster, which I still think is crazy, by the way. But I've always been a big Melo fan, especially being out here in New York too. Definitely met Melo a few times. Seen him play in the Garden a lot. And I always liked how Melo, he at least embraced the media, or he embraced playing in New York City, because we know a lot of stars haven't done that in the past. So I just always give him respect for that. And he is a top 5 scorer of all time. To me, top 5 offensive weapon of all time, I should say. I think his offensive package is very lethal, especially at his size. Quickest jab step, too, I'm going to say, Damien. I'm going to have to give him the quickest jab step I've seen in the league all time. Quickest jab. I'm going to go Melo at the 3.
Nah, I like Melo a lot, man. I love the move where he's mid-post, hits you with the jab step, hits one dribble, spins around you, and next thing you know, he's dunking at the rim. Like, I tried to do that move so many times, I can't, of course, I can't do it the way he can, but that's one of my favorite moves of all time right there. Because Melo just was nasty, man. Prime Melo. And then you said about Chris Paul being the last of a dying breed. You could say about Melo as well. We're not going to get those mid-post assassins anymore. And it's crazy. The man's, 34? And you already described him as a artifact. But it's true. It's nuts, man.
It's true. He doesn't get enough. Well, no, I think he gets love, but his name is just going through the mud right now because they're just remembering the Melo Lau rather than what he was. So,
yeah,
unfortunate.
Nah, they give it a few years. I think he'll definitely get the love he deserves.
Yeah.
So, where would you go power forward?
I'm gonna go KG on that. Kevin Garnett, man. He's my favorite power forward of all time. I love his leadership and how he played the game on both ends also as well. KG is my dude, man. Always big supporter of KG, man. That was my guy. Definitely going with him at the 4.
Nah, Kevin Garnett, he may be like in the conversation for greatest defensive player of all time. I think that's something that gets slept on, the way he could defend, especially Minnesota KG. He could defend all 5 positions. And offensively, he can take the board, dribble down the court, hit the mid-range on you, go to the rim, crazy rebounder. Kevin Garnett, man, like, he was just an absolute monster. And
that turnaround fade, Damien. That turnaround fade was nice.
Yes. And we forget about the shimmy. We forget about the shimmy days with KG, man. The shimmy was nasty, bro. He hit a lot of people with the nasty shimmy, then turn around on you like, oh, KG was an absolute monster, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And who you going with at center?
I'm going to go with Hakeem the Dream. Hakeem Olajuwon. That is my personal favorite center of all time. I think he's the most talented center of all time. Offensively and defensively. I think he was the total package as a center with agility at his 7-foot size. Agility, could block shots, could score on the post. We know he could shimmy. We know he could hit you with the up and under. We know he could hit a mid-range. Only thing, he never really stepped out and shot the 3, but I'm sure if it was the thing for centers at that time to shoot 3s, he probably would have hit them. But I got to give him love, and that's my favorite center of all time. I'll go Hakeem the Dream. Yeah,
we're on the same page when it comes to the power forward and the center as far as our favorite players.
Both?
Yeah, KG's my favorite power forward. Like I said, I've tried the shimmy. I should add that to my package, along with the mellow post spin move. Those was two that I worked on a lot to try to add to my package and could not do it. Hakeem Olajuwon, his footwork, man. You talk about somebody who was just fun to watch. There's not a lot of centers who you say were fun to watch. Like Shaq was dominant and at times fun, but Hakeem was just fun to watch. You're like, okay, this he's gonna go to work right now. A lot of times you say that about a guard, like Kyrie, like, oh man, he about to go to work. He about to put in his work right now. Hakeem had that type of energy at a center position, like, oh, he about to go to work on him. He about to do him dirty, barbecue chicken, and that's what you saw with Hakeem Olajuwon. So that's my favorite power forward and center. Small forward, I gotta go Grant Hill. Young Grant Hill was my favorite, man. He was just lethal with it, and I wish he would have developed a 3-point shot, sooner in his career. If he would have played in this era, man, Grant Hill would have been nasty in this era. But I love how he had that. You knew he was going to come either with the hesitation or the cross, and you couldn't stop it. Like, he was going to hit you with the hezi and pull up, hezi go by you, or he's going to do left to right cross. You couldn't stop it, and he could dunk on you and your mom in the lane. Got to go with Grant Hill. Michael Jordan, of course, at the 2. That's the easy one. The player who I wanted to be like was Vince Carter. Like, I used to go in the backyard and jump off a chair and try to do the dunks that Vince Carter was doing. And I thought I was going to be Vince Carter because I grew up to be 6'2" at like 12. And I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be 6'6" for sure. And I just stopped growing. And so I didn't get that chance to be Vince Carter. But that's who I wanted to be like growing up. And point guard, I got to go Chris Paul because, like I said, for those years of the Hornets, man, that's who I watched and saw him play. Yeah. So
I like how you think, brother. I like how you think.
So before we take our first break, I got to get on your favorite team. Who was your favorite team in the league?
I don't have one, man. I retired my fandom this year, me having this team. You know why? Because my man is in exile right now. So no allegiance to a team after my dude was Snake. Free CP3 right now, man. No.
See, I thought you was from listening to the podcast. I thought you was a Rockets fan, but it was just because Chris Paul was there.
I was transitioned over into a Rockets fan, man. But I still like the Rockets, man. I still root for them. But they pissed me off a little bit this summer. I can't lie. They pissed me off a little bit. I didn't like the snake season that was going on.
Okay, now we'll definitely get into the Houston Rockets here in a little bit. But as you can see, man, my man Justin is bringing it. We're going to take our first music break. And when we come back, we're going to do our predictions for the awards. Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, Sixth Man, Most Improved, MVP, all that stuff. So go ahead and check out this throwback song right here, and we'll be right back.
They're playing basketball. We love that basketball. 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 Yeah. Now basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. I keep it so fresh on the microphone. I like no interruption when the game is on. I like slam dunk to take me to the hoop. My favorite play is the alley-oop. I like the pick and roll. I like the give and go. And it's basketball. Bow wow, let's go.
All around the world. Yeah, to the beach, y'all.
In my hands, ain't no telling what I'm gonna do with it. When I got possession, I'ma act the fool with it. I might cross you up and fake one way, turn around and hit you with the MJ fade away. I'm throwing down passes like J Kidd, taking catch to the rack, and I'm dunking on them right. C-Mac, when I'm in the plane, I play with that Lonzo style. I'm like Darius, cause I can
Shown too many players get offers like me. I'm back and forth, but likely shake the checks off your Nikes. They almost had me in a suit at the draft, cause it looked like a free throw when I be shooting from half. The first step like Iverson, blow past you. Usually nothing but net, but I could go blast too. When I'm in the paint, the defense so shook, they don't know if I'ma put up a slow hook or dish her for no look. See, my game consists of a whole lot of moves you would think I learned from the Harlem Globetrotters. JD gon' lead us to a ring. Fab and Bow Wow's the only players that make cheerleaders wanna sing. Yeah, put it up, put it up, put it up, put it up now. Put it up, put it up, put it up now. Put joint. The night MJ scored 63 points when the Lakers won titles back to back. Didn't give nobody no kind of slack. When Vince Carter came, stuck his arm in the rim. Everybody went crazy in the whole damn gym. Dikembe Mutombo standing tall, playing D with desires, basketball. Sing. All around the world. Put it up, put it up, put it up now. All around the world. Put it up, put it up, put it up now. All around the world. Put it up, put it up, put it up now.
Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Hopefully you enjoyed that music break. That was Basketball by Bow Wow, Jermaine Dupri, fabulous. That's the basketball I grew up on. I know the old heads out there, had Curtis Blow. I recognize it. I'm not disrespecting him. I just played the one that I grew up on. I think we need a new one for this generation right here, Justin. You think we need a new basketball anthem?
Maybe so, man. Maybe so. But you good, though. You rocking with it. You good.
So now let's get into the awards. Our predictions for who we think are going to win the awards this year. Let's start with the Rookie of the Year. Who do you have winning the Rookie of the Year this year?
This was a tough one for me because I had a few options, but I'm going to go with Ja Morant, man, on the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's going to be a highly productive point guard in the league this year. I think he'll give about, if all goes well, I would say best case, he could give 19 and 9. 18 and 9, 18 and 8, I would say is more feasible for him. I think he can produce that, and I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to win much games, but the Rookie of the Year award is not really about how many games you win. It's really about how much numbers you can put up, and I think he'll have the best numbers out of the rookies because I think he's going to get the most touches out of all the rookies. So I'm going to give it to Ja Morant, Rookie of the Year.
I'm not mad at that pick. You definitely make a lot of sense when you talk about Ja Morant because he's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to be encouraged to ball out. Hey, go get these buckets, run this offense. You want your usage rates to be very high, so I can see Ja Morant winning it. I'm not mad at that pick. For my pick, I'm going to go with Zion.
I knew it.
Yeah, we got into. I was talking with your man earlier about Zion, and I think Zion's gonna be, man. The preseason is just a preseason. I don't want to get too hype about it, but I definitely think you can see some things that's gonna work during the year. And in Alvin Gentry's system, he's gonna be put in positions where he's gonna get so many fast break points, so many alleys from Lonzo Ball. There's going to be so many times where he's going to do a rub screen with smart players like Drew Holiday. And I could definitely see him getting 17 points a game, getting 8 rebounds, and even getting a few assists, getting like 4 assists a game, and shooting a very high percentage. I can see him being very efficient, shooting like 55% from the field because most of his shots are going to come at the rim. He's going to step out and shoot the three every once in a while. But this year, I think it's going to be more about developing that shot into following years. But this year, he's going to be at the rim, doing a lot of things close to the rim. So I got Zion, but I'm definitely not mad at the Ja Morant pick.
Listen, man, first of all, we got to tell my boy Reem stop hating, because you heard him, man. He was hating on Zion all episode. He been hating on him for a while now. I told him to get the hate out of his blood because I don't understand. He compared him to Rodney Rogers. Do you remember Rodney Rogers?
I do remember Rodney Rogers. Now, no disrespect to Rodney Rogers.
All disrespect to Rodney Rogers. No way.
Rodney Rogers was a cool player.
Better than that.
Yes, Zion has to be better. Yes, Zion has to be way better than Rodney Rogers. Rodney Rogers was serviceable. Zion has to be has to be a superstar. Yeah. So definitely, I've heard the disrespect of comparing Zion to Rodney Rogers. I've heard people call him Julius Randle with hops. I think it's all very disrespectful. Zion, that's the thing. We've seen this preseason that he's a lot more than just his athletic ability. So that's why I don't understand people, throwing that shade his way. But next week we're going to see. The season is here. We're going to see it opening day. I think he's going to have a big game against the Raptors opening night. And people are going to be like, oh, people are going to probably overreact to that big game. But I see him having a big game opening night, though. So
Yeah, man. Definitely. I think he's going to be actually play pretty well this season. I think he'll give about 15-8 this season, which I think is pretty good, decent numbers, or very reachable number for him. And he averaged 23-6 in the preseason. He shot 71%. I saw a lot from him, man. He can handle the ball a little bit. He's a big body. He got to shed a few pounds, but he just got to get a little bit of a pick and pop mid range, which I think he will once they start calling plays, because they weren't really calling a lot of plays like that. So I think he's going to be all right this season, man. I really do. I really do.
And one of the things that you mentioned on your episode, you said that the expectations won't be too high for him. It's not for him to run. The offense won't be run through him. It's going to be run through Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball. Bring the ball up the court. So he's going to get the opportunity to feed off of them and not have all the pressure on him. So I think he's going to thrive in that system.
I 100% agree.
So now let's go to Sixth Man of the Year. Who do you have as your Sixth Man of the Year this year?
I got Spencer Dinwiddie of the Nets. Spencer Dinwiddie. I think the Nets are going to have an excellent year this year. I think they're going to sneak up on a lot of people this year. I know a lot of people are counting them out because KD is not playing, but I think they are going to do a lot better, and Kyrie Irving is a major upgrade over D'Angelo Russell. I don't know what people are thinking. That is a major upgrade. D'Angelo Russell was solid, but don't get me wrong, that is a major upgrade. So I really like what they've done with this team, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie is going to play a major role, a bigger role this season as he did last year. So I think he's going to get about 15 a night, something like that, 15, 16, and he's going to play a lot of minutes, especially with KD out. So I got Dinwiddie as my sixth man.
Yeah, we're on the same page with this one. I picked Spencer Dinwiddie as well. I think
Nice.
Lou Williams has to not get it one of these years, right? So
Come on, you can't win again, man.
So I'm going with Spencer Dinwiddie as well. Last year, off the bench, got you almost 17 points a game, 4 assists.
Oh, 17?
Yeah, he was at 16.8.
Nice. Oh, damn.
Yeah, he was at 16.8 last year, 4.6 assists. He shot 44% from the field and 35% from three. So if he can get just those numbers to be around the same or just a little bit up, I think he definitely could win Sixth Man of the Year this year. So we're on the same page when it comes to Sixth Man. So this one I'm very interested in. Who do you have as your most improved player?
Well, I couldn't choose one, so I got a double. Can I get two for this one?
Yeah, go ahead and cook.
All right, so I got a double. So I got the first one I was thinking most improved. On the lowest of keys, Kristaps Porzingis. I think to win most improved player because the world has forgotten about Kristaps Porzingis. I think people really forgot how good he is, and rightfully so, because it's been a damn near year and a half, pretty much now, since we've seen him on a basketball court. I saw him in one of the preseason games. He looked very good. He was moving well. He still looks solid. His jumper is still intact, which is the most important part, and it still is because he is 7 foot at the end of the day. He bulked up a little bit. He got in the gym, so he can't be pushed around as much in the paint as he was before. And I think he's going to get a lot more easy buckets, especially with Luka over there. So I think Kristaps is going to have a very nice year over there in Dallas, and I think he definitely can win most improved because people forgot about him.
No, that's a very good pick. Who do you have as your other contender for most improved?
I got Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat. I think he's going to get a major role increase this year for Miami, and Miami's one of my sleeper teams as well, because I think they're going to sneak up on a lot of teams in the East, especially if they do this move that they need to do. But Bam Adebayo, I think, the center for the Heat, he has really good defensive versatility as a big man. I think with Hassan Whiteside being gone, he's going to play very well this year, and I definitely think he's going to average a double-double. And a lot of people didn't see him last year, but he definitely has some skill for a younger player. And I think he's going to take like that Siakam leap, just not in terms of scoring, in terms of rebounding and shot blocking.
I'm a big fan of Bam. I definitely like both of those picks. For my pick, I'm going to do two picks as well, two contenders. I went with guards. The first one, this will be an awesome feel-good story. Markelle Fultz.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like Markelle Fultz, honestly, he doesn't have to do much to win most improved, right? He just has to be on the court hitting jump shots. And in Orlando, the pressure's going to be off. He's not going to have as much attention as he did in Philly with the number one overall pick and all of that cloud over him. He's going to be able to play his game. We've seen video of him shooting, looking normal, everything looking right. You know, no shoulder issues, nothing like that. We've seen videos of it. And I think that he'll be able to come in off the bench and just play his role and play his game. I think he'll improve a lot this year. If his jumper is working, remember how talented this guy was coming out of college and what we all thought he would be? I think he can get close to that if he's in a situation where his head is clear, and I think Orlando is the perfect situation for that. The other player I had is Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, if his shot is right? He's worked on his shot. I like the way it looks. I think he can get to, like last year, he got 10 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And that's in a system where LeBron, a lot of times, is going to bring the ball up the court and run point guard, essentially. In New Orleans, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. So I think he can improve to maybe 14 points a game, get you 7, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, improve his shooting to where he can get to maybe 45% from the field, 35% from 3, and he can be in the running for most improved player.
I like that. I like those 2 picks. Definitely Lonzo Ball. I see big things coming for him this year. He just got to stay healthy, man. He got to give me 70 games.
That's the big thing, right? Because he played, I believe, 50 games last year and like 45 his rookie year. So he's definitely got to get into that 65, 70 range to be in the conversation for any type of award. But if he can get there health-wise, I think his game will improve with Alvin Gentry's system and the ball in his hands. The assists should come easy, right? Yeah. So he definitely should improve. But I like both of your picks as well, man. So it's going to be an interesting race this year to see who gets most improved player. So for the next award, who do you have as your defensive player of the year?
I got Giannis for this, man. I got Giannis for defensive player of the year. I think the Bucks are going to be top 5 in defense this year, same way as they were last year. I think they still have those versatile defenders. They lost Brogdon, but they picked up Wesley Matthews, who's a very good defender, a sneakily underrated defender. He's very good. So I think they're going to have a top 5 defense, and I think Giannis is going to average his 12 boards, his 2 blocks, and anchor that team to a top 5 defense. So I'm going to go with Giannis for defensive player of the year for me.
That's a very good pick. It's funny, looking at my paper, I had Giannis and I scratched him out. I was going back and forth. So I can't be mad at that pick at all. But at the end, I went with Joel Embiid for defensive player of the year. I think that Philadelphia defense is going to be nuts. With the size they have, Ben Simmons, Al Horford, Joel, that's nuts. The smallest player on your court is like 6'5" with Richardson. That's just crazy. So the size is just going to make it crazy hard for offenses to flourish against them. They're going to be pushing everything towards Embiid. He's going to get more blocks per game in this year, in my opinion, which is going to show his impact on the floor. A lot of people like us who are basketball heads know how impactful he is on defense. I think it's going to get more known this year, and that's why I got him as defensive player of the year.
I like that.
So who do you have as your coach of the year?
Coach of the year, I also have 2 choices, but my sleeper pick for coach of the year, I'm going to go with my man Lloyd Pierce from the Atlanta Hawks.
I like that, okay.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of his also as well. The Hawks is, that's my young boy team, I call them. That's the team that I root for, my youngsters. And I really like the Hawks. Everyone knows I'm a big Trae Young supporter as well. So I like his game. I like how Lloyd Pierce coaches. His players play hard for him. And I think the Hawks is going to surprise a lot of people. I think they could contend for the 8th seed. I'm pushing for Trae Young to be an all-star this year. I think he will be. First time all-star for him. But I think the Hawks are going to be solid this year. So I'm going to go with Lloyd Pierce as my coach of the year. And then also, I'm going to go with Coach Spoelstra, down there in Miami. I think that's another sleeper team in the East that's going to surprise people. I think they're going to play pretty well, especially if they go out and they go trade for CP3 like they're supposed to do. I think that will vault them into the upper echelon of the East. So I'm going to go Coach Spo with Coach Spo and Lloyd Pierce for my Coach of the Year.
Okay, I like both of those picks. In the Eastern Conference, those guys can end up in the top in the playoff race, maybe even top 5, depending on how things shake out. So I definitely like that pick. For my pick, I went with Quinn Snyder for Utah. I think Utah is going to be really, really good this year. And when you talk about a team and you see their defense, that's what coaching is. That's when the coach is in his bag, when you see the defense just beasting out. So I think Quinn Snyder is a very good choice there. For a backup choice, I'm going to go Doc Rivers, right? Because that team is going to be phenomenal this year. Once Paul George comes back, they're going to be great on defense. And for me, Coach of the Year, I really look at the defense side of the ball. Offensively matters as well, but defense, I think, is where coaching comes. Like in offense, the NBA is so talented that offense is going to come. Like if you have talented offensive players, you basically just have to, you can put in a system, but those players make it work. Defensively, that scheme is what matters against these such talented players. So for me, when I look at defense, that's how I determine who the best coaches are in the NBA. So those are my 2 picks.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I like those.
Okay. And who do you have as your most valuable player?
This one was tough for me because I had a few choices, but I liked my choices, but I didn't love my choices. So I'm going to go with a sleeper for MVP this year, Dave.
Okay.
I'm going to go Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn Nets. Sleeper, because I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to surprise a lot of people, like I said earlier, and I think they're going to be a top 4 seed in the East by when the season is done. And I think Kyrie is going to average his, let's say, 26 and 6 or 7 assists. I think will be enough for him to win MVP because I think they're going to win a lot of games this year. And I think, especially if he stays healthy, because that's the key. He's got to play at least 70 games, too. But I think Kyrie is going to have a really, really good year this year because I think the way the team is constructed, even though without KD, he's going to get a lot more shots. And I really like the team around him with Kyrie. So I'm going to go Kyrie as my MVP, man.
I like that pick. That's a really good sleeper pick right there, especially the way that you explained why he could win MVP. I think that's a really solid pick right there. For me, I went with Kawhi Leonard. I think they're going to end up with the best record in the Western Conference. Not going to give away the record yet. We're going to do that in a little bit here. But Kawhi Leonard, last year they had him on a load management. We heard that word a lot. This year the load management won't be as much. So I can see him playing 75 games. And last year he averaged 26 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists while shooting 49% from the field and 37% from 3. This year I can see that going even higher to maybe 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. I think that's going to be a big part of his game that improves is the passing. If he's getting 5 assists per game with the defensive and offensive production that he already has, his MVP candidacy will be right there in people's faces. And plus he'll be on national TV all the time. So it's going to be something that the ones who get the votes for MVP, they're going to see him a lot. I think that's going to matter when it comes to it. So I got Kawhi Leonard as my MVP this year.
Okay. Out of that.
So that was our award predictions. We're going to take our next music break, and when we come back, we're going to do the Eastern Conference to start. Right? We're going to do our predictions for each team. And don't worry, we're going to touch on every team. You know, we're not going to be like your normal national TV shows and only concentrate on the Knicks or the teams that we think are going to win. We're going to touch on every squad. Now, we might not spend as much time on teams like Cavaliers, but we're going to touch on them, though. All right? We will touch on it at least. All right? So we're going to take a quick music break and be right back.
America with my son, cash in the check. So I asked out of respect, would she like to explore the world of high? We can fly in my jet. Her reply was yes. Can I ask you something? I seen it in her eye. Mama looking like all I wanted was sex. Then move to the next. That ain't true, but it was something about this girl's style that made me feel no regrets. We started off casual, walked through the park, candlelight dinners by dark. I'm thinking smart, afraid she might think I'm in a rush to touch, crush, and be up. But baby, I ain't on that stuff. Dropped her off and told her call me up. We can talk, conversate about political subjects, whatever's thought. So I zoomed off, thinking about her, my phone rang. It was her in the shower. Said I couldn't do without her, then I said, you could if you would go with me. If you was my baby, you could if you would go with me. If you was my lady, you could if you would go with me. If you was my baby, you could if you would go with me. Yo, if you was my lady. The next day I'm with the fellas at the case playing ball. Here she come with her friends, they posted up on the wall. Now I'm showing out, trying to dunk, trying to dribble, break fast through the middle just to see her smile and giggle. Game over, I pushed her with a kiss on the cheek. The homeboys looking at me saying, look, how would you weep? But you know how that go. But I got they want, but I got off flown. Ever mess with it, please don't. Told her I'm going home. She asked, can she go too? I'm like, yeah, boo. I can't see me without you. Got her, I took a shower, jumped out. She in the bed with a see-through thumb. Said I looked at her and said, if you would go with me. If you was my baby, you could if you would go with me. If you was my lady, you could if you would go with me. If you was my baby, you could if you would go with me. If you was my lady, girl, recognize game before game recognize you. You dealing with a player true. Now what you wanna do? We can kick it and go puff on the blunt. Or you don't smoke, grab a pint of hand and we can get drunk. It's up to you, I'm the man, but baby, just let me know. Cause if you got an attitude, I can treat you just like a hoe. If you're rolling with me, baby, hop in, it's enough room. We can gaze at the stars and shine like the moon. Give me a chance to show ya, and a chance to know ya. Just be true, and there's nothing I won't do for ya. Some women like to play it foul, but them the kind I put in the place of a child. Don't worry, be happy and smile. If you would go with me, if you was my baby, you could if you would go with me. If you was my lady, you could if you would go with me. So tell me what you would do. Girl, I wanna go with you. And you know my baby, if you was my baby, what you wanna do? Go with me. If you was my lady, you could if you would go with me. If you was my baby, you could if you would go with me. If you was my
Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Hopefully you enjoyed that music break. I am back here with my man Just Blaze, 513 on Twitter. Go ahead, check him out and follow him. And he is killing it with all his basketball knowledge. I need some more of that basketball knowledge from you as we do the Eastern Conference preview and predictions for these teams. So I know that divisions don't really matter in the NBA, but I decided to break it up division by division just to organize it for myself. So we're going to start in the Atlantic Division. We're going to start in your neck of the woods, all right? So the New York Knicks, last season they went 17-65. And this year, it looks like their rotation will be Dennis Smith Jr., R.J. Barrett, Marcus Morris, who your man said could shut down Zion Williamson. We're going to definitely see that. Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Bobby Portis. You'll have Taj Gibson there. Kevin Knox may start if they decide to put Julius Randle at the 5. Alfred Payton, Alonzo Trier. They have a lot of players there. What do you see from the Knicks this year, and who is their X factor for them to be successful?
I see the Knicks being solid this year. That's the best that I could give them. I see them being solid. They made a couple of interesting signings. They got about 35 power forwards on that roster. But and they playing right now too. They playing the Hawks, and they look a little disjointed, but they're gonna be scrappy though. So I definitely think they're gonna compete in a lot of games. I don't think they're gonna get blown out every game, but I would say I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make the 8th seed. I think they might be challenging the 8th seed until maybe the All-Star break, then fall off. But I see them getting like 30 to 35 wins, I would say. And the X factor, we got to see what RJ Barrett is made of. We got to see what he could produce this year, because he's got the right frame, the right body type, the Maple Mamba they call him over here. So I got to see what this guy. I got to see what he's bringing to the table, man. He got to show me a little something.
Okay, no, I'm definitely not mad at that. I got him with 25 wins, but I could see him going 30, 35 wins maybe.
I'm being nice. Being nice.
Now, you in New York, I understand you being nice about it. I got him with 25 wins. Like you said, their roster is just disjointed. So many power forwards. Like I mentioned, Marcus Morris is really a power forward who's going to play small forward if you don't start Kevin Knox. My X factor is Kevin Knox. We got to see if Kevin Knox can be a legit good player. He didn't look that good last year. He had moments here and there, but we got to see if he can really take that next step forward to be somebody who you can play on alongside RJ Barrett. Of course, RJ Barrett, we got to see what he's going to do. We don't have any idea because he's a rookie. But Kevin Knox, we need him to take that next step forward for the Knicks to have some type of positive energy going into the next year. But I got him winning 25 games, going 25-57. We're going to stay in New York. The Brooklyn Nets. Last season, they went 42-40. They had a lot of turnover on the roster. You add Kyrie Irving, you get rid of D'Angelo Russell. So for their rotation, you got Kyrie Irving, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Tyrese Prince, DeAndre Jordan, Jared Allen, Wilson Chandler, he could be suspended though. Seems like he might be suspended. Garrett Temple, and you also have some other players there who may be in the rotation. Of course, Kevin Durant coming off an Achilles injury. There've been talks about him playing, but I don't really believe it. So I'm just going to assume that he's not going to play this year. What do you see for the Brooklyn Nets this year?
I see big things from the Brooklyn Nets this year, man. I'm a big supporter of them. I see them as the top 4 seed in the East, like I said earlier. I definitely see them getting 50 wins. I would say I'm close to it. I know. I do feel like I'm stretching a little bit, but definitely between 40 and 50. 50 it might be stretching, but it depends on 2 factors: the health of Kyrie, that factor, and he has to play at least 70 games. And then the other X factor, I believe, is the lowest of keys, Taurean Prince. I think if he produces and he can give you 15 a night and lock down defense, I think it'll really soften the blow a little bit of KD not being there. But he has to be there and hit those open threes, hit those open jump shots, because he's going to get a lot of those. And he has to play lockdown D. And I think the Nets can do big things this year, man. They still need one more piece they need to decide. They need to call up Melo, man. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Now, I definitely can see where Melo could help come off the bench for them. I got him going 45-37. That may be a little low.
Okay.
That may be a little low. For me,
that's not that far off then on 50. Not that far.
Not that far off. And for the X Factor, I got Karis LeVert. Now, before he got hurt last year, he was the guy who we thought was going to be the all-star for them. And once he got hurt, that's when D'Lo took off. So if he can get back to that level, this team could get to that 50-win mark that you're talking about, because if he's getting you 22, 23 points a game and also playing good defense, along with Kyrie Irving playing at an MVP level, Spencer Dinwiddie coming off and giving you those points that you need there, this team is unstoppable. Unstoppable as far as it comes on offense. So I definitely agree with you there on where they can be projected. Speaking of Kyrie Irving, his old stomping grounds, Boston Celtics. Last year they went 49-33. This year they look a bit different as they lost their leader Al Horford and also lost Kyrie Irving. Now they have Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, along with Enes Kanter. You got Marcus Smart coming off the bench along with Daniel Theis. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Robert Williams. Their bench is a little thin this year. What do you see from the Boston Celtics?
I see them doing pretty well this year. I think because the East is very it's spread out, I would say mediocre. I would say very middle of the pack kind of teams. The competition isn't too stiff as it is in the West. So I see them still being a solid team. I still see them. I'm a big Kemba Walker fan and Tatum fan as well. I think actually Tatum might get his first All-Star appearance this year. So I actually have the Celtics as a top 4 seed this year, and I think the X factor is Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen has to produce 18 and 5 and a lockdown defense, and I think Boston can be where they want to be.
Okay, I'm right there with you. I got them winning 50 games this year. My X factor I have is Gordon Hayward. You need Gordon Hayward to get back to the Gordon Hayward before the injury. And
I don't know, man. I don't know if he can.
hopefully he can, because you're paying him, what, 29 mil? You're not paying him 29 mil
Over 30.
Over 30 this year?
30. Yeah, I think so. I know it's a lot.
Definitely. It's definitely a lot. So you're paying somebody superstar money. You need him to get back to that superstar level. And if he's able to get you to that 22, 23 points a game. Now, that's the thing with Jason Tatum. If he takes that step forward, do you need Gordon Hayward to be that, right? So if Jason Tatum is an all-star, like you're predicting, maybe Gordon Hayward can stay at that 17 points a game and just be a role player in that way. Jason Tatum, I hope he doesn't fall victim to the Mamba mentality. I understand Kobe fans out there are going to hate when I say that. But the reason I say that is that everybody can't beat Kobe. It's no disrespect to Kobe when I say that. Kobe can have the Mamba mentality. He can shoot over 3 people. He can pull up in the mid-range all day if he wants to, because he's Kobe Bryant. Jason Tatum is not Kobe Bryant. So he has to play Jason Tatum's game. And hopefully he gets back to that this year. I feel like last year he got away from being Jason Tatum and settled too much. Hopefully he gets more to driving towards the hoop this year. And I can see him being an all-star like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
For the next team in the Atlantic Division, we got the Philadelphia 76ers. Last year they went 51-31. This year their rotation is just hella big. Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Joel Embiid. You got Mike Scott, Trey Burke coming off the bench. You know, they lost McConnell. And you also have Jonah Bolden. You know, you have your stretch 5 there. So what do you see from the Philadelphia 76ers?
I see big things. Well, they need to produce big things. They got a lot of expectations over there in Philly. A lot of people are jumping on the damn Philly bandwagon. I mean, they cool. I like the roster. I love the roster they put together. I was never crazy about the Al Horford pickup, the Al Horford signing in Philly, just because I feel like I didn't love the fit next to Joel Embiid, 2 centers, and I like Al Horford at the 5 more so than the 4. And I think in late game situations, they're not really offensively dynamic with that roster, with Embiid and with Horford, even though they both can hold their own. I don't know. I just don't love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a nice mix. I get where they're going. I just don't love it.
Yeah.
I think losing Jimmy Butler was a big loss for them, and I don't know who's going to step up in the clutch. So that's my X factor. Who's going to step up in the clutch? Because I don't know. Tobias needs to. He should be. We'll see. Joel should be, actually. But we'll see.
Yeah, now you bring up some very good points. One thing I said when the Al Horford move was first made, usually when a player gets older, they move in position from guard to forward, forward to center. You usually don't see him go from center to forward, forward to guard. And from him to go at this age from center to forward, for me, just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I get that he's very smart. He's going to be in the right position at all times. But there's going to be times where he's out there guarding someone like a Kristaps Porzingis at the 4. And now you're asking him to guard somebody at the 3-point line. And he still can move his feet. But there's going to be times where You're going to have a Kyle Kuzma at the 4. Someone who would, in past years, would be a small forward who now plays the 4 because of the way basketball is changing. Can Al Horford at his age play that 4 now? Right? And that's the question I have when it comes to this defense. But I still think just because of the size alone, this defense is going to be great. They have a lot of players making a lot of money, so they need to go ahead and meet expectations. You got 4 players with contracts over $100 million in that starting lineup. So you definitely need to go ahead and meet those expectations. A lot of money there. I got them winning 55 games. The X factor I have is Richardson. He has to be able to hit threes. You mentioned the loss of Jimmy Butler. The loss of J.J. Redick is huge as well. So this team has all the pieces, but those 2 losses right there I think are major. And Ben Simmons, people went crazy because he hit a 3 in the preseason game, and we saw all the videos in the offseason of him shooting. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe it until I see it in a regular season game. Once I see it in a regular season game, that's when I'll start to believe it. And I got to see it more than once.
You know what? Why else I don't believe it right now? Because he wasn't in the gym with C. Brickley. Wasn't in the gym. It's not an off-season workout, Damian. If C. Brickley isn't in the gym with you. And I didn't see him making those jumpers in his gym, so I don't believe it. He needs more people.
I feel you on that. I feel you. So I definitely, like I said, I feel the same way. Because, like I said, you can edit the video and show us all the makes you want. Let's show us, put it on live. Let me see it on live.
Put it on live.
Yeah, let me see what it's really about, man. So we're going to see if Ben Simmons is really about that shooting life this year. For the next squad in the Atlantic Division, the defending champion, Toronto Raptors, who went 58-24 last year, of course, won the NBA Finals. But, of course, they look different this year. As their roster is, you have Kyle Lowry, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Marcus Gasol. You got Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet, Stanley Johnson, and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson coming off the bench. What do you see from the Toronto Raptors this year?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I don't know what to make of this team right now. They just look incomplete right now. They have a bunch of decent parts just around a star, but no star. And I know people are loving Siakam right now, but he's not a star yet. He's still got to show me a little something. So that's why he's my X factor. And for him, it's what can he produce as a number 1 option? Because it's much different when you're playing behind Kawhi. You're maybe the second, maybe the third option. They weren't really calling plays for Siakam like that. He was just hustling and getting a lot of his buckets and hitting a lot of his open jumpers. So now, if he's supposed to be the number 1 option, can he still produce like that? So I don't know what to make of the Raptors, man. I mean, I know they could definitely make the AC, but I'm not really crazy about that roster, to be honest. I would much rather like them to not make it. So that's my spiel on the Raptors. I don't know, man. They're an interesting team this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. A lot of people said, I was hating when I asked, is Siakam ready to be a number 1 guy? Right? Because
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know either. Because it's different when the attention's on Kawhi or when you're doing it for a few regular season games here and there when Kawhi is on load management. But when you're the guy from day one that people know, okay, this is the guy we're game planning to stop, it's different. His jump shot is still a little shoddy. If it seems like, when we were kids, we played that game where it was lava. It seems like for him, there's lava above the 3-point line. He's not trying to stand up there. So when you get to the point where he's not trying to stand out there at the 3-point line, if it's not a corner 3, he has to get better at that. They're already scouting the spin move. That's been scouted. Can you have counter moves off of that? And when you're a number 1 guy, you have to have those. And also you have the loss of Danny Green, right? Can OG make up for the loss of that? So you're losing shooting. You're losing, defense with Kawhi and, just that MVP caliber player. So I think they can still make the playoffs. I got them winning 45 games because you got good coaching there, good culture. So you're going to be good, but you're definitely not going to be what you were last year. I've had Toronto fans come at me and say, we have a better roster than we had the year before Kawhi came, which you may can say maybe, but you still don't have that guy. Like DeMar DeRozan was still an all-star caliber scorer who can get you buckets. Yeah. And I feel like they disrespect him now because they won a championship with Kawhi. Like, that man's still your leading franchise scorer. So you don't have him anymore. You don't have that franchise scoring guy. It's going to be different in Toronto this year, man. So we're on the same page there. So now let's move on to the Central Division, right? And go to Chicago. Now, Chicago last year went 22-60. This year, the rotation looks like they're going to have Thomas Zadaransky at point, if you don't start Kobe White. Zach LaVine, Otto Porter Jr., you got Laura Marketing and Wendell Carter Jr. You could have Kobe White coming off the bench along with Chris Dunn and also Thaddeus Young. What do you see from the Bulls this year?
I think they're going to be fighting for some wins, but I see about 20 wins from them, 20 to 25 wins, the same way they bottomed out last year. I just think that they need to figure out their point guard situation because that's going to be a problem. What are you going to do with Chris Dunn? He's not going to be happy with no minutes, so they got to figure that out, Damian. So they still got some questions over there in Chicago they need to answer, man, for sure. What do you think? Yeah,
I'm right there with you. They definitely have to answer those questions because you want to get Kobe White minutes, right? And Thomas Zadaransky showed last year that he's going to be ready for some minutes. So Chris Dunn could see himself getting traded or something like that. I agree with that. I got him winning 30 wins. I think that Zach LaVine and Larry Marketing, if they're healthy, that 1-2 combo can improve them as a whole. Otto Porter Jr., if he's healthy, I want to see what he does. He's somebody who gets paid a lot that we don't talk about. He needs to step up to that contract and be that X factor, be that defender that we all expected him to be from his Washington days. So I got him going 30-52. For the next team, this team we don't have to spend too much time on, honestly, because they're garbage. We're going to be honest about it. Cleveland Cavaliers. Last year they went 19-63 last year. For their rotation this year, it's probably going to be Darius Garland, College Sexton, C.D. Osman, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson, along with Jordan Clarkson, Brandon Knight, and Larry Nance Jr. So real quickly, what do you see from Cleveland this year?
I see nothing. I see lottery. That's all I see from Cleveland this year. They want no parts of winning, and they will be a free ride for the rest of the season. But I just need to see the young guys compete and see what Darius Garland got, what Sexton has. I got to see what these young boys could bring this year. And if they're trading Kevin Love, they need to.
Yeah, that's why I want to see Kevin Love be healthy enough to garner interest from other teams and get traded. The X factor I have for Cleveland is the ping pong balls. Hopefully the ping pong balls can fall their way. You want to, like you said, you want to see Garland and Sexton play well together, see if that can be the backcourt of your future. But besides that, sorry, Cleveland fans, you don't have really much to look forward to this year. For the next squad, the Detroit Pistons. Detroit. So last year they went 41-41. And they got swept in the first round. Blake Griffin, had the knee injury at the end of the year. Don't know if they would have did any better against the Bucks, but would have helped if he was healthy. This year, you got Reggie Jackson, Bruce Brown, Tony Snell, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond. You got Derrick Rose that you signed, along with Luke Kennard and Markieff Morris coming off the bench for them. What do you see from Detroit this year?
I see them competing. First of all, not competing. They definitely better get into the playoffs this year. There should be no excuse for them not to be in the playoffs. They should get at least a 6 to 8 seed, whatever. Blake Griffin should have another All-Star season, hopefully, if he's healthy. That's always the key. I see big things from Mr. Drummond. I'm a big fan of Big Drummond. And Derrick Rose, I think, is going to have a nice year, slept-on year. And I like the pickup of Joe Johnson. They should make the playoffs in the East, basically, the Pistons. I would be surprised if they don't.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got them winning 44 games this year, enough for, like I said, a 6 seed. And for them, Andre Drummond, big fan of his as well. Don't shoot no more threes, bro. We don't need to be seeing you shoot threes and backing up off the line like you hit it. I understand he's been working on it, too. I understand he's been working on that in the offseason. But let's get a mid-range. Let's get some mid-range shots from you, Drummond. If you do that, that's enough to just expand the defense and to open up your role some more. But, yes, the threes, if it's not 1 second left on the shot clock, don't do that. And for my X factor, I'm going to go with Luke Kennard. I think he could be somebody who can be big off the bench for them, if not starting. For the next squad, this squad is interesting, the Indiana Pacers. Last year, they went 48-34. This year, they added Malcolm Brogdon along with Jeremy Lamb, T.J. Warren. You got DeMontis Sabonis along with Miles Turner. Aaron Holiday, Doug McDermott, T.J. McConnell, and of course Victor Oladipo, who won't be starting the year. Hopefully he can come back sometime soon. What do you see from the Indiana Pacers?
I think they're an interesting team too as well. I definitely have them making the playoffs. It all depends when Oladipo's back. I really haven't heard too much news. I know they said he might be coming back this year. I believe he is. I think by the All-Star break or something like that. I don't know, but I like the Brogdon pickup with them. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. And Nate McMillan is always a great coach, so they're definitely going to be a great defensive team. And I definitely see them making the playoffs, of course. And I see about a 50 from them, like where they were last year, pretty much. 560. And I think they're going to do well.
I think I got them making the playoffs, but I got them taking a step back. I got them winning 43 games this year because of Victor Oladipo probably missing half the year. Like you said, we haven't heard much. But you know that his injury was a weird injury. It was a weird knee injury that he had.
Yeah.
So it's not one that you come back from in a fast manner. So I got him winning 43 games. I love the Malcolm Brogdon picked up. Like, I love that a lot. Jeremy Lamb is somebody who is a good player when he's not dependent on to be a second best guy like he was in Charlotte for some time. T.J. Warren definitely can get you some buckets. I love Sabonis. I love Turner. Aaron Holiday, I want to see more from him this year. But we'll definitely see, man. We'll see what they do going forward in Indiana. For the next team, this team has high expectations. The Milwaukee Bucks. Last year, they went 60-22. This year, they have a different looking rotation without Brogdon. They have Eric Bledsoe, Wesley Matthews, you mentioned him earlier, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. You also have George Hill, Pat Connaughton, Sterling Brown, Ilyasova, Robin Lopez, and Kyle Korver on that team as well. It's a deep team. What do you see from the Milwaukee Bucks?
I see them more one and the same of how they performed last year. Maybe not the exact same. I believe they won 60 games last year, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 60-22 last year.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't think they're gonna win 60 again because I do think Brogdon is a big loss for them. But I see big things from the Milwaukee Bucks as to be expected when you have the MVP on your team, Giannis. And I think if Wesley Matthews can replicate the production that Malcolm Brogdon gave you, I think they'll be right back where they were last year. But I still need to see Giannis really perform how he's supposed to in the postseason. So hopefully this season we start seeing sprinkles of a couple of mid-range jump shots at least. He doesn't have to hit a lot of threes, but at least a couple of decent step-back mid-ranges will do him nice. So I think the Bucks is going to do well, though, regardless.
Yeah, I definitely agree that they'll still be a top team in the East. They got winning 58 games this year instead of 60. Not taking a huge step back. One thing for the playoffs, though, I think they made a mistake when they signed Eric Bledsoe so early. Because once they signed Eric Bledsoe, they pretty much said, we're not going to be able to sign Brogdon if we're going to keep Middleton. And if you're going to choose between Brogdon and Bledsoe, I think you would choose Brogdon. So when you made the choice to sign Bledsoe because Bledsoe was playing so well in the regular season, which he was. In the regular season, Bledsoe was balling out, great defensive player, and was actually hitting shots. Playoff time came around, that jumper just went away. It disappeared. And with Brogdon, you get the defense. Now, his defense might not be as good as Bledsoe's, but it's not too far behind. And you get that offensive production. Not just the shots, but you also get somebody who could be a playmaker for you. Bledsoe, when he's not hitting his shot, next thing you know, he's not playmaking. He's still going to give you that effort on defense, but offensively, he could just be a zero out there. Next thing you know, you're playing 4-on-5. You got somebody yelling self-check. So when you got that going on with Bledsoe, it's no good for you. So I think that could come into a big impact for them on the playoffs. But regular season, I got them doing the same thing this year. Do you think that my concerns on Bledsoe are warranted?
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Bledsoe, so I'm right there with you. I definitely would have chose Brogdon over Bledsoe. I mean, Bledsoe is okay. He's a really good point guard, but they need an elite point guard right there on the Milwaukee Bucks to help Giannis out. I just don't think he complements Giannis. He's good. He's still good. He's still better than a lot of other point guards, but I think to maximize Giannis, I think you need another type of elite point guard there. More of a distributed point guard.
I agree with that. So now let's move on to the Southeast Division. Let's go to your young boy team, The Atlanta Hawks. Last year they went 29-53. This year their rotation, they have Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins. You have had Alex Len along with Jabari Parker, Cam Reddish, Chandler Parsons, if he's ever healthy, ever. They re-signed Vince Carter. What do you see from the Atlanta Hawks this year?
I see. Well, the Hawks. That's my young boy squad. Like I said earlier, I see big things for them, man. I think they're going to be competing for AC. I think Trae Young is my man. I think he's going to be do very well this year. I think he's going to make the All-Star team this year. I know I might be stretching it with that. He might not get enough wins, but I think he's going to put up big numbers this year. I think the Hawks are going to do well. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but they should be competing strongly for that A seed, and I think they will. So I'm going to say the Hawks are going to have more of a competitive year this year.
I definitely agree with that. I got them getting 35 wins, so not making the playoffs, but they will be competing, especially in the Eastern Conference. They'll be competing for the A spot for a while. Trae Young, I like that All-Star pick. In the Eastern Conference, I can see him being one of those last two spots picked up, on that 11 and 12 spot for the All-Star team, so I'm not mad at that pick at all. For the X Factor, I got Jabari Parker. Of course, Cam Reddish, you want to see what he does this year. But I want to hopefully Jabari Parker can be healthy and move on defense and, be close to that guy that we thought he was going to be. It's been a shame to see that, he hasn't been able to live up to his potential. So we'll see what Atlanta does this year. For this next team, I'm just going to apologize to their fans now, the Charlotte Hornets. Last year they went 39-43. This year they look a lot different as they no longer have Kemba Walker. They replaced him with Terry Rozier. You're going to have Malik Monk, Nicholas Batum, Miles Bridges, Cody Zeller. You also have, that is Devontae Graham, Willie Hernan-Gomez, and, of course, you have Marvin Williams. What do you see from the Hornets this year?
Nothing. I see nothing from them. They're going to be a bottom seed looking for ping pong balls early in the year, and Rozier is going to put up some stats. Yeah,
I agree with you there. I got them going 20-62. Not gonna be a good year for the Hornets, but like you said, ping pong balls will be in their favor. Hopefully they get something good out of that. For the next squad, we have the Miami Heat, who last year went 39-43. Their roster looks a lot different this year as they have Goran Dragic, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Kelly Olynyk, and your man Bam Adebayo. Justice Winslow, Deion Waiters, Derrick Jones Jr., and James Johnson coming off the bench. What do you see from the Miami Heat this year?
I see big things for them as well. I think they're going to be a very a sleeper team in the East. I think they're going to win a lot of games, especially if they make that CP3 trade, which they need to do, which I think they actually will in the early part of the season. So I think that's going to propel them to one of the top 4 teams in the East. But I like Jimmy Butler over there. I think he's going to do well. He's going to put up some real good numbers over there. But they just have a lot of weird pieces on that roster right now. They just have double of everything on that roster. So they have to do some roster shuffling to take the next step.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that they should go after CP3. If they do not, and they keep this roster, I have them getting 43 wins. I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. But him as the top guy without that distributing point guard, Dragic can distribute, but he's not on a CP3 level when it comes to that. I got him getting 43 wins. If they get CP3, I can see that going up to like 47, 48. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully they do rescue your man CP3 over there.
Free my man CP3.
For the next squad, we have the Orlando Magic. Last year, they went 42-40, lost in the first round of the playoffs to Toronto. They did give us a good shocker in that first game of the series. For the rotation, they have DJ Augustine, Evan Fournier, Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Vukovic. And on the bench, they're going to have Markelle Fultz, Terrence Ross, and along with Mo Bamba for them. What do you see from the Orlando Magic?
I see them competing in the East, but I think they'll either get an A seed or don't make the playoffs at all. I'm not a big Orlando Magic fan. I'm not really crazy about their collection of young talent, but I think they'll definitely compete though in the East. I would say that they'll be competing for wins.
Yeah, I got them going 44-38. I think that they will improve a little bit. Hopefully, Markelle Fultz can get that most improved player, like I said earlier. Jonathan Isaac is someone who has the perfect body and just looks the part to be a great player going forward. Hopefully, he can take a step forward. Aaron Gordon is very talented. My man DJ Augustine, I played against him in high school back in New Orleans. Hopefully, he can continue to play well, but he's not someone who you would ideally have as your starting point guard. So, of course, you want Fultz to come in and eventually take that role. But we'll see going forward what the Magic do. For the next squad, we got the Washington Wizards. Okay, so this is another team that you just gotta apologize to their fans. Last year they went 32-50. This year it looks like for the rotation they'll have Ish Smith, Bradley Beal, C.J. Miles. You'll have Rua Adamari, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, along with Thomas Bryant, Isaiah Thomas come off the bench, Jordan McRae, Troy Brown Jr. What do you see from the Wizards this year?
I don't know what's going on with the Wizards right now. They should be going for ping pong balls, but all they have is Bradley Beal right now. The key storyline is if they're going to trade him or is he going to sign. And I don't know. They just need to bottom out too, so they can get a high pick next year in the draft. The Wizards. So I don't expect much.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's the thing with John Wall? Is he even scheduled to come back this year or next year?
No, they said no.
They said no? Dang, that's nuts. So keeping Bradley Beal a whole another year, wasting a year of this man's career just to wait for John Wall is crazy, especially when we have no idea what John Wall is going to be like. You have no idea what that man's going to play like, because you guys mentioned on the show, his whole game is predicated off of speed and explosiveness. And he coming off of knee and Achilles. That's nasty. So we're definitely we're gonna see what the Wizards do, but X factor for them is ping pong balls. So that was our Eastern Conference preview. We're gonna take a quick music break and come back with the Western Conference. All right, we'll be right back.
Oh yeah. It feels good. To enjoy myself, I've left my problems up on the shelf. The workday's over and I got it made. Like Johnny Kemp said, I just got paid and I'm ready to mingle. Young man, single and free, ready to get busy. Down to party, hardy and have a good time. All I need is a partner in crime. Call up the homies and hope they might say they're down to paint the town red tonight. Look in the closet and pull out the hype gear. Hook up the high top fade and I'm out of here. To a disco or a party of some kind. Hope that I would find myself a good time. Before I'm through and the night is done, man, I'm gonna have fun. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Just dancing, y'all. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Out there on the floor. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Just dancing, baby. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Gonna give you dance floor. Check your coat and your troubles at the door. Cause for sure you're gonna see a smile today. The problems of the world seem miles away. The only thing that matters is a good time that can be had with the help of a good rhyme. The DJ's hype more than up to par. Uh-oh, there goes a cutie at the bar. So I stroll on over and say hi. And tell her I'm the PLAY. And would she like to dance a while? I'll do anything to see you smile, you see. My job is to take you higher. After a couple of songs, I'll inquire. Having fun? Well, I ain't done. The best is yet to come. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Just dancing, y'all. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Out there on the floor. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Just dancing, baby. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Gonna give you with you, I wouldn't mind spending the rest of the night with you.
No kidding, babe, we can make some noise. You and your girls, and me and my boys.
Just feeling right, a night filled with pleasure.
We can take it slow with no pressure.
Enough respect.
You won't regret.
This'll be a night you won't soon forget.
Yeah.
And that's a promise from me to you. Take my hand, girl, I'ma see you through.
You don't strike me as a woman that fronts. Here's your chance.
Only live once, I wanna hear you say, oh, what a blast, kid. We sure had good fun while it lasted. Hung out with
And
friends.
hit the skins.
Next week we're gonna do it again.
Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Hopefully you enjoyed that music break. I am still here with my man Justin from the Above the Rim podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that. Wherever you subscribe to podcasts, it's definitely a very dope podcast. If you are a basketball head, check it out. You will enjoy it. So now we're going to do our Western Conference preview. Let's start with the Northwest Division and the Denver Nuggets. Denver last year went 54-28. This year, the rotation looks like it's going to be Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton, Will the Thrill, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic, along with Monte Morris, Malik Beasley, Jeremy Grant, and Michael Porter Jr. is finally set to make his debut this year. What do you see from the Denver Nuggets?
I see them doing well this year. I think they're another year more matured. I think that getting in the playoffs last year definitely helped them out, especially getting close to the Western Conference Finals, getting close, so in the 7-game series. So I see big things from the Denver Nuggets. I think the Joker is going to have another really, really good year, and I see them really doing some nice things. I don't think they're going to get past the second round. I honestly think they might be a first-round exit, but that's because the West is so tough. But I think they definitely should be able to get to the second round. Should be.
Okay. Now, I got them getting actually more wins in the regular season this year. I got them going up to 56 just because of how you mentioned that there's another year of basically the same unit together. So they're going to have a chemistry advantage over some of those other teams in the Western Conference that are going to be more talented. So I got them getting more wins. X Factor, Michael Porter Jr. If that guy could come in and be the guy that we thought he was going to be coming out of college or when he was in college before all the injuries, that's going to be nasty, the fact that they'll have his guy coming off the bench to add to that rotation that's already deep. So I got Denver doing big things this year, going 56-26. For the next team, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last year they went 36-46. For the rotation, they got Jeff Teague, Andrew Wiggins, Jake Layman, Robert Covington, Karl Anthony Towns, along with Shabazz Napier, and you have Gorgie Jing, along with Trevton Graham. What do you see from the Minnesota Timberwolves this year?
I see them competing. I see them missing the playoffs once again for another year, just because the West is way too tough. But I see some big numbers, some good numbers coming from Cat, from Karl Anthony Towns. I see another 25 and 12 type of season. But they just don't have enough talent on that roster to really compete in the West for a playoff spot. So, but I think they're going to be competitive, as a team in the West.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got him getting 40 games this year, so 40 and 42, which definitely won't be enough in the West, but they will be competitive. I have nothing more to add on the Timberwolves right now. So now let's get to your man, CP3, in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last year they went 49 and 33. They look a lot different this year as they no longer have Russell Westbrook or Paul George. So their roster looks like Chris Paul, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Andre Robertson, hopefully he can be healthy, Danilo Gallinari, Steven Adams, along with Dennis Schroeder. You have Terrence Ferguson there and Nerlens Noel. What do you see from the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Truth be told, man, I'm just annoyed with this roster. But it's decent. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not a bad roster. In the East, it most definitely would be a playoff team. I think in the West, they can surprise a couple of people and play really well, because I know a Chris Paul led offense is always going to be definitely top 5 in the league. I don't know with this roster, because he may not have the scorers around him, but Gallinari's a very good scorer. He can get you 20. SGA can definitely get you close to 20. I think he's going to take another leap forward. Steven Adams, I think, low-key, is going to have a career year, depending on how long CP3 is there, and then that's the real issue. I don't know how long he's going to be there. So I don't really see him staying there for too long, to be honest. I don't see him getting all the way to the deadline. I see him getting traded like in December or something like that, an early season trade. And so I don't think OKC is going to make the playoffs, because I don't think he's going to be on the roster. But if he is on the roster for the whole year, which is crazy, by the way, but if he is, I can definitely see them competing for 8th spot in the West. I definitely could see them getting 7, because the West is very unpredictable.
Yeah, now the West is very unpredictable. If he's there all year, this roster is interesting, because they have some defense there. You got Gallinari, who can get you 20 points a game. You mentioned Steven Adams, who a lot of people sleep on Steven Adams, but I can see him taking a step up this year as well. I like Ferguson off the bench. SGA is very interesting as well. The only reason that another benefit of trading Chris Paul is the fact that you get to move SGA back to point and let him develop even more as a point guard instead of having that to 2. So if Chris Paul stays, I can see them winning 40 games and being competitive. If he leaves, they'll take a step down, but they'll still be quite competitive with their roster. So it's an interesting team there in OKC. For the next team, another interesting roster, we have the Portland Trail Blazers, who last year went 53 and 29. Their roster have Damian Lillard, Dame Time, Dame Dollar, C.J. McCollum, Rodney Hood, Zach Collins, Hassan Whiteside, along with Kent Bazemore, Anthony Tolliver, Paul Gasol's on that roster. And, of course, you're waiting for Yusef Nurkic to come back from that broken leg he suffered last year. What do you see from the Portland Trail Blazers?
I like them, but I don't love them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Damian Lillard, love C.J. McCollum. I don't love anything else in that roster. I like Rodney Hood, but other than that, I'm sorry. I'm not a crazy big fan of this Portland Trail Blazers roster. I know they're going to win a lot of games through the chemistry and continuity, because they've been together for a while, but I think people are really underestimating the loss of Mo Harkless for that team. I think he played a major role last year for them, being their primary perimeter defender. So McCollum didn't have to guard those guards, or Dame also. And I think Al-Farouq Amino left also, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, he's in Orlando.
So both of those big forwards were really good for them. And I'm not a big Hassan Whiteside fan, I'm not going to lie. He's all right, but hey, I'm not crazy about him as a center. So I see Dame working hard, getting his damn near 30. C.J. McCollum getting his 22 to 25. But I think they're going to take a step back this year, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I have them taking a step back. Still in the playoffs, though. I got them winning 49 games this year. Like you said, they're going to miss those small forward / power forward players that they had last year. And you think about Al-Farouq Amino, and we all remember the Dame Time shot where he waved by. But the play that set that up was Al-Farouq Amino playing lockdown defense on Russell Westbrook and making Russell Westbrook shoot that terrible layup that he shot. And that's what led to Damian Lillard being able to hit that crazy shot that he hit to win the game. So when you don't have Alfred Camino or Mo Harkless, those plays may not be made to set up Damian Lillard to make the crazy game winners that he does. So I think that you make some great points there.
Yeah.
Now for the next squad, we got Utah, right? Utah Jazz last year went 50-32. This year, their roster looks a lot different as you added Mike Conley along with Donovan Mitchell, Royce O'Neal. You also added Bojan Bogdanovic along with Rudy Gobert. You have Emmanuel Mudiay coming off the bench, Joe Ingles, Ed Davis. What do you see from Utah this year?
I think big things from Utah. I know that's like the sexy pick in the West is like to pick Utah. But I need to see them play together. I really like the Mike Conley pickup. I think he's essential for that team. Donovan Mitchell should take a leap forward this year. But I think Utah is going to do very well this year because they got a lot of talent on their roster, and they should be a top 4 seed this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got them going 56-26. I'm a big fan of their coach, a big fan of this roster. I like Utah a lot, man. Hopefully Utah can shake some things up, and they could be one of those teams that makes us excited about this year as far as it being not predictable like years in the past when it comes to the NBA. So now let's move on to the Pacific Division. Now this team looks a lot different. The Golden State Warriors. Last year they went 57-26, and this year their roster looks a lot different, right? You have no Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson's not going to be there at least to the All-Star break, maybe even longer. So you have Steph Curry, you added D'Angelo Russell, Alfonso McKinney, Draymond Green, Kevin Looney, Alec Burks, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Glenn Robinson III in the rotation. What do you see from Golden State this year?
I think they are a very interesting team. I know a lot of people are counting them out, but I still think they're going to do fairly decent. I definitely don't love their team. They got a couple of pieces. I think Steph Curry is going to have the ultra green light. I mean, that's no different than he normally does. But I definitely think he's going to put up numbers this year. I tell you that. Definitely going to be scoring damn near 30. But I don't think they're going to have enough wins to really compete, especially for a championship. I definitely think they're going to be in the playoffs, but I think they'll be a first-round exit, not going to lie. So that's what I see from Golden State.
Yeah, I got the same thing here. I got them winning 48 games this year, taking a step back or 2 step backs if you want to, go James Harden style with it. And because you don't know when Klay's going to come back, there's going to be a lot of times where Steph is facing the type of defense they saw in the finals last year where people might get creative and do boxing ones and things of that nature if, D-Lo's having a bad game and Draymond Green's not hitting his shots. So we'll see what they're able to do, but I definitely agree that Steph Curry will be an MVP candidate this year, getting like 30 points a game, 7 assists, and he's a sneaky good rebounder as well for a point guard, getting you like 6 rebounds a game. For the next squad, the LA Clippers. Last year they went 48-34. This year they look a lot different as they have Patrick Beverley, Landry Shamet, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, along with Zubac. You got Lou Williams coming off the bench, Montrezl Harrell, JaMychal Green, and Mo Harkless that you mentioned earlier as a big loss for Portland. What do you see from the Clippers this year?
Well, championship or bust for them. They better win a title with this collection of talent that they got, that they assembled together. That should be the only goal in their mind. So I see big things coming from them. And I see them making it to the West Finals this year because they got a stacked roster if they stay healthy.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I got them winning 60 games. Even if Paul George misses the first 8-10 games, I still got them winning 60 because I see Kawhi Leonard having an MVP year. I picked him as my MVP this season. That defense is going to be crazy. There's going to be times where they're just switching between Patrick Beverley, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. That's just nuts. And then with Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench, this team has it all, man. So I got them winning 60 games, getting that first seed in the Western Conference this year. So let's stay in Los Angeles with the Lakers, who last year went 37-45. This year, the rotation looks like it's going to be I'm thinking about Rodney Rogers because we said it earlier. Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, along with JaVale McGee, Kyle Kuzma, Quinn Cook, and Avery Bradley. Kyle Kuzma is going to be out for the first few weeks of the season, looks like. What do you see from the Lakers this year?
Well, them again, championship or bust for them. They better get to the title, or they better get to the finals, something like that. They definitely better make the playoffs. That's unacceptable how they didn't make the playoffs last year. But I think the Lakers are going to do very well. I think a lot of people are projecting them to do well anyway. But I do have an issue with their guard play. I do feel like their guard play, their overall crop of guards is very sus to me. There's no real distributors on that team other than LeBron James. Rajon Rondo is, yes, a distributor, but I never liked his fit with LeBron James, and I still don't really like that on the floor. I think they need an upgrade at the guard spot. I like Avery Bradley, but what they're missing is a real elite distributing point guard that could also shoot the ball as well. So, but I guess Rondo will do for now. That's what they got to deal with. But we'll see, because they need to make the finals in order for this season to be a success.
Yeah, I'm right there with you when it comes to the guard play. I like Danny Green a lot alongside LeBron. I think that's like the perfect player to have alongside LeBron. But Rajon Rondo, even though his shot has improved, it's still not to the point where you want to have him as the guard alongside LeBron. Quinn Cook, I think it's going to be major coming off the bench, giving them some shooting. Kyle Kuzma, of course, is major for them this year as well. He has to take a step up. For me, man, Dwight Howard, people don't like Dwight, and they put that on their basketball opinion of Dwight. So because, they think Dwight's whack or lame or whatever, they put it on his basketball opinion. Like, they'll say he's not a Hall of Famer. Like, come on. So with Dwight Howard, he can get back to what he was in Charlotte the year before last. A man was getting like 17 and 12. So he won't be asked to do that this year. But if he's out there getting boards, protecting the rim, alongside Anthony Davis, Dwight could be the most underrated pickup of the year if he's out there doing what he does. And he looks healthy right now. So I think that could be a major X factor for him as Dwight Howard. I got him winning 57 games, going 57 and 25. For the next team, this team is trash. I'm talking about the Phoenix Suns. Last year they went 19 and 63. This year for their rotation, they did add Ricky Rubio. They finally got a point guard. They haven't had a point guard since forever. So they added Ricky Rubio. You have, of course, Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre Jr., Dario Saric, along with DeAndre Ayton. You have Mikal Bridges and Aaron Baines coming off the bench. Do you see anything positive for the Phoenix Suns this year?
I see them looking a little bit better. I don't see them winning a lot more games. I mean, I think Rubio definitely will help over there, but there's just too much talent in the West for them to really compete for a playoff spot. But they'll be a little bit better this year. I'm not going to lie. They'll be a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got them winning 25 games, being a little more competitive. I really like the pickup of Monty Williams as coach. They've been changing coaches out here in Phoenix like they changed draws. So I'm glad that they finally got a legit coach that they can keep for a few years and let the team develop with him. So they won't be good this year, but they will show just a potential to build on going forward. This next squad is very interesting. The Sacramento Kings. Last year they went 39 and 43. For their rotation, you have De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley III, along with Dwayne Dedman, Corey Joseph. You have Bogdanovic, Trevor Ariza, and Harry Giles III. What do you see from the Sacramento Kings this year?
The Kings, I see them, I don't know, they're an interesting team also. Like, I see big improvements from De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley. I like Harrison Barnes over there. They picked up Trevor Ariza, I think, also. I like Dwayne Dedman over there. I see some solid things from them, but I don't see them making the playoffs, honestly, in my opinion. I think they don't have enough to make the playoffs, but I see them being really around the same way that they were last year. I would say last year they were kind of competing for the 8th spot. This year I don't think they will be doing that, but I think they'll be okay this year. They'll be competitive.
Yeah, I got them improving, but not enough to make the playoffs. I got them going 42 and 40, which won't be enough in the West, unfortunately. But they do have an interesting team. We'll see if they're going to pay Buddy Hield. That's going to be very interesting to see if they're going to, shell out that money for him. But this team is very interesting. I think they gave up too much money for Harrison Barnes. I don't understand how he was able to garner that much money in the market. But we'll see what they do going forward, man. So we're on the same page when it comes to the Sacramento Kings. Now it's time for the last division in the West, the Southwest. Let's start with the Dallas Mavericks. Last year they went 33-49. This year you have Delon Wright, Luka Doncic, along with Justin Jackson, Kristaps Porzingis, Dwight Powell, Tim Hardaway Jr., Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, and of course my man Boban. What do you see from the Dallas Mavericks this year?
I see them improving this year. I was saying KP is a most improved player of the year candidate, and I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong that he's not washed, but they forgot how good he was. And I think he's going to do well. Luka obviously is going to do well. He's definitely going to hit 20 points, 25 and 5 or something. But they need a little bit more talent over there in Dallas. I don't see them making the playoffs, but I definitely like their team.
Yeah, they have a good team. I got them going 39-43. X factor for them is finding a third person, right? You know Luka and Kristaps Porzingis are your 1 and 2. Who's at number 3? Is it Tim Hardaway Jr.? Is it Delon Wright? Who's going to be that third person to score for you? So we'll see if they can find that third person. It's supposed to be Tim Hardaway Jr., especially with the contract he signed, but we'll see if he can step up to the plate. For the next team, I'm very interested to hear your opinion on them. Houston Rockets. Last year they went 53-29. This year they look a lot different as they traded Chris Paul for Russell Westbrook. Of course, you got James Harden, Eric Gordon, P.J. Tucker, along with Clint Capella, Austin Rivers, Thabo Sefolosha, and you also have Nene and Ben McLemore still in the league coming off the bench. So how do you see Houston going this year?
Houston is a very interesting team, man. I see them winning some games, definitely winning about 50 games, I should say. I wouldn't say well over, but about 50 games. I think the regular season is going to look nice. The stats are going to look nice. They're going to figure out a way to play together, Russ and Harden, because they're just highly talented and highly skilled players. But I don't see them. Definitely, I don't have Houston making it to the West Finals. I just think that having those two of the top 5 most ball dominant players in the NBA history, literally, with Harden and Westbrook, I don't think is the right formula for success. And then along with a coach like Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni can't really. He's an offensive guru, but coaching-wise, as far as making adjustments in playoff series and throughout the season, he just can't do. So I've never been a big fan of Mike D'Antoni, and I think he just lets his players go a little bit too much. And those 2 players, Harden and Westbrook, are 2 players that you don't give too much leash to because they go a little over the deep end. So that's what I feel like will be Houston's detriment, and they feel like they upgraded with Russell Westbrook, but I disagree, personally.
Yeah, I definitely can see that, and I think during the regular season, they're going to be better than they were in the regular season last year. I got them winning 56 games, but come playoff time, that's when you see the detriment of having Russell Westbrook on your team. Russell Westbrook, people get mad at me for my takes on Russell Westbrook. I know Russell Westbrook is great. I know he's the first person to get a triple-double, since dinosaurs was roaming the planet and whatnot. I understand that. But as great as that is, the efficiency matters. When you go 3 for 10 from the 3-point line, and people understand those 3-point shots that you miss lead to long rebounds, lead to fast breaks for the team, it affects your team in a major way. How can Russell Westbrook and James Harden, who are both known for coming up short in the playoffs, who's going to step up? Who's going to be the one to carry the team on their back when it comes to that? I don't see it. So I got them being a great regular season team, getting 56 wins, but falling short in the playoffs. For this next squad, very young team. I'll take too much time on them, the Memphis Grizzlies. Last year they went 33-49. This year they've got the young John Morant, who was your pick for Rookie of the Year, along with Dylan Brooks, Kyle Anderson, Jaren Jackson Jr., who looked very good last year, Jonas Valanciunas, Grayson Allen. You had Brandon Clark along with Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala, who is looking to get bought out or traded. What do you see from Memphis this year?
I see them shooting for those lottery picks also. But I see John Morant maturing this year. and I think he definitely will mature this year into this growing season, which was my pick for Rookie of the Year. And I think they'll be a solid team, though. I think him and Jaren Jackson will be working really well together, and hopefully they can form a nice relationship throughout the season and build on that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Only got to win in 22 games. Hopefully they get good ping-pong balls to build on the future. Don't have to add much to that one. For the next squad, we got to talk about my New Orleans Pelicans. They went 33-49 last year. This year, for the rotation, they got Lonzo Ball, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, along with Derek Favors, J.J. Redick, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, along with Etuan Moore and Josh Hart coming off the bench. What do you see from New Orleans Pelicans this year?
I see nice things from them. I really like their team. I'm not going to lie. I love Lonzo. I'm a big fan of his. Drew Holiday, we call him Black Jesus over here. What you gonna call it? Brandon Ingram. I'm a big fan of his. He's definitely gonna try to get his stats up, get his numbers up this year.
Yeah, contract year. Yeah.
Yeah, Zion. I really want to see his progression this year. That's going to be a very interesting storyline. And then I like Derek Favors also. I love J.J. Redick off the bench. I like Hart. I think those Pelicans are going to be all right, man. They definitely should be competing for an eighth seed in the West, and it'll be interesting to see them do it.
Yeah, I got him going 40-42. The X factor is Brandon Ingram. Does he try to go too much for his stats to get that big contract? Is he someone who can get you 20-25 points on a consistent basis on a team that's going in a winning direction? So we'll see, man. And last but not least, we got the San Antonio Spurs. Last year they went 48-34. For their rotation, you got DeJounte Murray back, along with Byron Forbes, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Jakob Poeltl, whose name is spelled Jacob Patel, but all right. Then Derek White, and you also have DeMar Carroll along with Rudy Gay and Patty Mills. What do you see from San Antonio this year?
I think they're going to be a decent team. I'm a big fan of DeJounte Murray. I think he's going to be a very solid point guard in the future. So I see some decent things from San Antonio, but it's definitely going to be tough for them to get into the playoffs, but I definitely think they can do it. And I'm a big fan of Rudy Gay also as well. But we got to see DeRozan take another leap forward if he wants to.
Yeah, if the Spurs, you can't count them out. Every time I say, this is the last time the Spurs going to make the playoffs, they make it again. So I definitely don't want to do that again. I'm going 44-38, being a team that's in the hunt for the playoffs. But that was our Western Conference preview. So now we're going to take our last music break, and then when we come back, we're going to make our predictions for the conference finals, NBA finals, and of course, end with forgotten players. Thank you for rocking out with us. We'll be back with my man Justin from the Above the Rim podcast.
Definition of half man, half drugs, ass the clubs, bad boy, that's what's up. After bucks, crush crews after us. No games, we ain't laughing much. Nothing but big things. Check the hit list, how we twist shit. What changed with the name? We still here, you're rocking with the best. Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks. Who's the boss? Dudes is lost. Don't think cause I'm iced out, I'ma cool off. Who else but me? And if you don't feel me, that means you can't touch me. It's ugly, trust me. Get it right, dog, we ain't never left. We just move in silence and rep to the death. It's official, I survived what I've been through. Y'all got drama, the saga continues. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now, cause it's bad boy for life. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now, cause it's bad boy. Hey, look, straight from the Harlem streets. I don't play, I push it down with the Harlem heat. All of a sudden, niggas got a problem with me. Black, what They run around acting like the black don't can't eat. And you know what? For some strange reason, I'm on for this medication, feeling deranged, needing for y'all to put the word out. We ain't leaving. We trying to be rich before we all stop breathing. Therefore, we kinda hustle lanes. Stay laying down our muscle games. Still turn niggas' dreams to flames. You got the wire? If not, I ain't saying no names. You soon expire. No pain. I feel remorseless. Of course, it's me and Diddy up first, racing Porsches with the big twin valve exhausters. On the cover of your vibes, double X sounds and sauces, bitch.
Going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
We can't be stopped now. Cause it's bad boy for life.
We ain't
Going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
we ain't going
We
nowhere.
can't be stopped now. Cause it's bad boy
It
for
ain't
life.
shit changed since the notorious. See everything still glorious. We still got warriors, still be the victorious. See it's a lot of them, but it's more of us. Still got cash to blow, raps to flow. Still them cats to know, pack the flow. That's for sure. Bottles to pop, joints to rock. Play the background, hand 'em a jock, hold 'em a Glock. Money to get, cars to flip, bars to sit at and sip cognac with juice to drip. Hoes to see, make sure they knowin' it's me. Drop that D, can't believe that I am C. Bad boy to the casket drop, gotta love it. Place nothing above it, it's on like that. Don't believe we ain't going like that. For always gonna be here, be there. Every motherfucker's here.
Bad boy.
Going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere.
We can't be stopped now. Cause it's bad boy for life. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now. Cause it's bad boy for life.
We ain't going nowhere.
Going
We
nowhere.
gonna stay right
We
here
ain't
forever and ever
We can't be
and
stopped
ever.
now. Cause it's bad boy for life.
We ain't going nowhere.
Going nowhere.
We gonna stay right here.
Going nowhere.
We ain't going
We
nowhere.
can't be stopped now.
We gonna stay right here.
For life. Going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now. Cause it's bad boy for life.
Welcome back to The Real Deal with Damian Adams. Hopefully you enjoyed that music break. I'm still here with my man Justin, Just Blaze, from the Above the Rim podcast. And now it's time to get into the nitty gritty. Put our predictions on wax. So let's start with the Eastern Conference. Who do you have in the Eastern Conference Finals, and who do you have winning the Eastern Conference?
Eastern Conference Finals, not gonna lie, I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Again, if all goes as planned, Damian, if all goes as planned against the Miami Heat in the
Wow.
conference finals with CP3 on the roster after that trade goes down, and that's my prediction for the East Finals. Because I think that's going to happen right there. Usually I would say a Bucks, but I do think that trade actually is going to go down. And with that going down, I see them competing with the Sixers for that Eastern Conference crown.
All right, so who do you have winning that series and how many games?
Well, I can't pick against my boys, so I would go with the Miami Heat. They'll be a 7-game series, though, for sure.
Okay, so you have the Miami Heat, if Chris Paul gets traded there, coming out of the Eastern Conference. Okay, I like the bold prediction. I like it. So for my Eastern Conference prediction, I'm going to go with the Bucks against the 76ers. And I have the Milwaukee Bucks winning that series in 6 games, representing the Eastern Conference, going to the finals out of the East. So Miami and Milwaukee is our predictions for the East. Who do you have in the Western Conference Finals?
For the Western Conference Finals, I'm going to go with, I hate to be like cliche, but I'm going to go with the Lakers and Clippers. I do feel like those two teams actually will make the West Finals. They're the two most talented teams in the West, so I'm going to go with the Lakers versus the Clippers in the Battle of L.A. in the West Finals. And I want to see it. That'll be a nice matchup.
Okay, and who do you have winning?
Whew. Man. I'm going to go with the Clippers, man. I'm going to go with the Clippers.
Okay, so you got
I'm root for the Clippers. I tell you that. I'm root for the Clippers with that.
Now, I'm right there with you. I am a Laker hater, so I definitely am right there with you on that one. So for mine, Western Conference Finals, I'm going to go with the Clippers versus the Utah Jazz in the Western Conference Finals. I know a lot of people will be like, Utah is just a trendy pick, but it's not trendy to have them beating the Lakers in the second round. So that's why I got them beating the Lakers in the second round, getting to the Clippers. But I got the Clippers beating the Utah Jazz in the conference finals in 6. So for me, I'm going to have Clippers versus Bucks in the finals. You have Heat versus Clippers in the finals. Who do you have winning the finals between your Miami Heat and the LA Clippers?
Say that one more time. Sorry about that.
Who do you have winning the finals between your Miami Heat and your Los Angeles Clippers?
Oh, come on. I'm like, did I hear that correctly? Who do I have winning? It's not Andrews on the it's not Andrews on the court. I'm rooting for him to win, man. But I'm not gonna lie, Clippers are gonna be a tough out, man. They're a really, really damn good team from top to bottom. They're too deep, basically at every position, and I do think they do have the upper hand to win a title this year. But it really is all about health this year, to be honest. Because I could say that now, they missing one piece, and everything could go haywire in the playoff race. So it's really, really tough to call and really tough to decide with you. I can't even lie. But it definitely will be tough for Miami to win a title. That's definitely me going out on a limb and just saying that because I want it to happen. But I definitely could see the Clippers taking the title, and the Sixers as well, because they have the right pieces to it, but they just got to show up their bench also as well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got the Clippers defeating the Milwaukee Bucks in 6 in the NBA Finals. I think it's going to be a really good series. I think Kawhi will prove to be too much for Giannis Antetokounmpo once again. But I definitely like the boldness of picking Miami. Like I said, if they do get Chris Paul, they will be a contender, especially in the Eastern Conference. So I have no problem with that pick at all. But we are on wax right now. So you're on wax. You got the Miami Heat defeating the LA Clippers in the finals. And and I put mine on wax.
That sounds crazy when you say it.
And I'm on wax.
I'm bugging out.
And I'm on wax right now. I got the Clippers beating the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. So now it's time for us to do the final segment of the show. I like to do Forgotten Players. This is where we pay homage to players who may have been good but not great, great but not recognized, or players who you may have forgotten about who we want to remind you of. So who is your forgotten player today?
I'm going to go with Nick Van Exel, man. Nick the Quick. He was always one of my favorite players in NBA history, man. I think he definitely gets slept on, definitely gets forgotten in his early years. A lot of people don't remember him because he was those early Lakers and stuff like that. I know he's an assistant coach now with the Grizzlies. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't know also he was drafted by the Lakers in the second round. Second round, he was drafted by them. He definitely was killing in his first couple of years. I know he didn't average 20 a game, and his stats were never gaudy. I believe he averaged 14 and 6 for his entire career. But man, people slept on his incredible handle, his layup package was slept on, his clutchness was slept on, and I definitely think he was forgotten amongst the most talented point guards. And remember when he was on the Mavs too. I know I believe in the playoffs he gave you like 20 a night one night when they had their.
No, definitely, man. Nick Van Exel was someone who was definitely underrated. They should add his layup package to 2K because he definitely had a very unique layup package that was one that you can depend on. So shout out to Nick Van Exel. For my forgotten player, I'm going with Sean Elliott. Sean Elliott was a 6'8" small forward, 3rd overall pick out of Arizona by the San Antonio Spurs. A 2-time All-Star, averaged 14 points on 46% shooting, 37% from the field for his career. And he was the first player to come back from a kidney transplant, and somebody who just was an inspirational story throughout his life. So shout out to Sean Elliott, who his best season was the 95-96 season where he averaged 20 points per game on 46% shooting and 41% from 3. So shout out to Sean Elliott as my forgotten player. So shout out to our forgotten players today. Nick Van Exel, and I picked Sean Elliott. I want to give a big thank you to my man Justin Just Blaze from the Above the Rim podcast, man. Hopefully you enjoyed your time on the show.
Oh, most definitely, man. I appreciate the invite from you, my brother, as always. Definitely appreciate you coming on and allowing me to do what I do best on your great platform, man, and speaking to your people as well. And, you know, you got a dope show, and I definitely got to get you on Above the Rim, man. That definitely got to happen for damn sure right now. Definitely got to get you on there, so I'm going to get your availability and all that good stuff. And, yo, I appreciate you for having me, man. It was dope.
Oh, no problem, man. I definitely want to come on the show. I'm a big fan of Above the Rim, so I would
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know when I'm available, and please let the people know where they can find you and also find the show.
You can find the show on all platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and all that good stuff. Just search Above the Rim NBA Podcast, and you'll find it there. You can find me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. That's JUSBLAZE_513. On IG, it's the same thing, JustBlaze513. And yeah, scream at me, man. I love to spar with people with the NBA talk. So holler at me.
Definitely. Him and his friends definitely want the smoke, all of it on Twitter.
Yeah. They want to smoke all of it.
Definitely.
I love how you brought the smoke today, Damien. I was with that. I loved it.
Oh yeah, I'm always down for that as well. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Above the Rim, so make sure you guys check it out. Until next time, man, make sure you follow me at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in Alpha. And if you listen to this show, don't be selfish. Share it with your friends. Tell them about it. Don't be the one at the Thanksgiving table just holding all the macaroni to yourself. Spread it around, all right? And let people know about the show. Until next time, go real or go home.